everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm sorry about my setup, my lighting, my background. We just moved. We're back in Boston and this is our new apartment. We're still unpacked. That's why you can see a random amount of chairs behind me, but I'm here for this video to explain why the hell am I in Boston. I actually received a lot of questions on what's going on, what happened, how did I end up here. So me and Joseph, my dog, are here to answer some of those questions. So as you know, I lived in Boston for 2 years before I moved to Oklahoma for my dental school, OU, University of Oklahoma. I moved to Oklahoma I got into Oklahoma this October 2019, and I moved to Oklahoma in December to start my school in January. So for the last half a year, I was enrolled and studying in Oklahoma. But this May, I dropped out and moved back to Boston. I was applying to all of the schools, any possible school with the Part 1. So I applied around the country anywhere I could where they only took Part 1. I know a lot of you are in similar situation, and here in Boston there was just one school that only accepted Part 1, and it was BU. And there's also Tufts, but again they don't take only Part 1, they need Part 2, so I didn't apply to Tufts. So BU was it was not my first choice. I never liked BU because it's in a very, very bad neighborhood. The class is large, so it was never my first choice. I was open to moving, and it would be nice to stay in Boston to go to BU, but it was not my first choice. At the same time as I was applying to dental schools, my husband was applying to law schools, and he applied to everywhere basically there. I applied because we really didn't want to separate. So when I got into OU in October, he applied to OU himself so we could go together, and he got into OU. He has great LSAT score. He's the smart one in the family, and that's why he easily got into OU. It's a pretty low ranked law school. Even though dental school is great, their law school not so much, and that's why of course he got in, no questions asked. So he could have gone to a better law school, but he settled down for OU because I went to OU, and that was all right. We were okay with that. And I didn't hear anything from BU for the whole time I was in Oklahoma, the whole year. That after my application, didn't hear a word from BU. And by the way, if you're applying to BU, be prepared that no news is bad news. There's a chance that they will just never answer to you, just like they never answered to me. So they do that. I think out of all the schools that I applied, that was the only school that didn't have any response. No thank you for applying, no we regret to inform you, none of that, just radio silence. So be prepared. If you don't hear anything, you probably didn't get in. So I was studying, preparing for my endo final, so I was very much into school at that time. In May, 14 months after my application date, I received an interview invitation. And when I saw that, I thought it was such a funny joke. Like, look at that, 14 months after I applied and I already got in and studying, they invite me to an interview. And I sent it to my husband like, haha, look at that. But he was like, wait, what? He got so mad and so involved with it because he was obviously settling down for OU, and he felt that way. It took him a very long time to talk himself into going to OU because he could have done so much better, and all the best schools are in Boston. Not all of them, but many of them. Harvard's in Boston, and he could totally go to Harvard. He did have a great LSAT score. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but he is very smart, so he got very interested in that. And I thought I wouldn't take that interview. I thought, well, this is ridiculous. Obviously, I'm already in school. I would not answer them. But something in my head just told me, take it. And I was like, okay, just for fun, let's, it's my school. It's in Boston. I worked there. I lived there. I worked with the professors of BU. BU was on my mind a lot. So I was like, okay, let's just see how they interview. They don't have a bench test, as you probably know, so their interview is all you need. So I was like, okay, let's just try it. Let's just hear what they say. So I didn't prepare for that interview at all. I scheduled an interview. It was probably Friday when I received an invitation, and I had an interview on Monday, so I didn't have much time to prepare at all. I didn't read anything about the school. I didn't prepare answers to any typical questions. And when the interview came, I was completely out of the blue. It was a Zoom interview online. Basically, when we started talking, it did not go great. When we started talking, she explained why they invited me is because coronavirus happened and they collected a class with foreign students who are still abroad. But if they take their classes online, that would not be a visa case. The government could not give the visa to foreign people who are abroad, because they're not gonna come to class in person. That's not a visa case. If the education is online, they don't require a visa. So some people in their class dropped out. They couldn't make it to the country by the beginning of the classes, and the classes begin July 27th. So they had to continue interviewing, and apparently I was next in line who was still in the country, who was registered as living in the United States. That kind of made me feel like I'm not the first choice. You know, they only want me because I'm in America at the time. That's not a great thing. You never want to feel like, you know, they don't want you, they just want you because you're in the country. There are other conditions, and OU was definite yes. Like when I got into OU, I wasn't even waitlisted. I got into OU, they really wanted me there. So I was like, okay, fine. And I mentioned that I was in Oklahoma at the time, because, well, I didn't want to pretend like I dream about BU and I didn't take any other programs. I said right away that I got accepted to Oklahoma and I moved to Oklahoma. I'm currently I am in Oklahoma. And she said like, oh, well, we usually don't like pooling people from other programs. So for me it heard like no. For me what I heard was, we will not take you. So I was like, I relaxed at that time, because what's the point already? She's telling me that they only are ready to interview me because I'm in America at the time and in Boston. I applied from Boston, so close proximity, and you know, they don't like pulling people from programs. But technically I wasn't I wasn't already in the program. I was just in the boot camp, which is a preparatory course before the school starts. I was listed as a volunteer. I still didn't pay my tuition. I was just, you know, I was just sitting there. I actually made a video on boot camps. I didn't think it was useful, so I didn't upload it, but I think I will now. So she didn't really sound interested in me after I mentioned that I was in Oklahoma. We were just basically talking about how Oklahoma was reopening after coronavirus, because at that time they already started having some in-person classes. And we just discussed we just talked about coronavirus basically the whole time. So nothing about me. There was no way I could sell myself. I felt like they were not really interested in me. So when the interview was over, I felt like, okay, well, you know, there's no way. I'm glad I did it. I made my peace with it. I'm glad it's passed. The story was over for me. There was a conclusion to my BU application when they never answered me, and now finally they did. I took an interview. I felt like it was a no. I continued, studied for my endo final. But then that Thursday, so just 3 days later, I get acceptance letter. And congratulations, you're going to BU. But my husband could not apply to any law schools because all of the deadlines have passed. It was May, so the programs start now. In June, July, August, they have collected all of their class. But you know, that made us even more mad. That made us very frustrated. And what he did, he just emailed every school in Boston and said, listen, and Connecticut, and said, listen, here's my application. If there's any way, or some people because of coronavirus not going to show up to your class, can you please review my application? And some schools said yes, some schools said no, because any school in Boston or Connecticut would be better than OU for him, law school wise. So he applied to all of the law schools that said, yes, we will still look at your application. And he got into all of them. Basically, he got into, no, I think he got into 3. He got into Connecticut, he got into BU, he got waitlisted to BU, and he got into BC. And BC is a great school. It's top 20 in the country for law schools. And of course, he said yes, and we are going. So I dropped out of OU. I had to pay a lot of money to drop out. That is wasted. More than $20,000 was wasted. But at least, you know, we're back to the city. I would personally not move myself, I would not exchange OU for BU. I preferred OU. I think it probably is a little better of a program than BU. I'm sorry, BU, if you're watching me, if you're any professor from BU, I'm very grateful and very happy to be at BU. I'm proud of being in BU. I'm very happy to go, very excited, but I wouldn't exchange it if it was just about me. I wouldn't have dropped out of OU. But my husband, it was a big difference law school wise. It made a big change in his future career and his future life. So we moved to Oklahoma for me, for my career, and we moved back to Boston for his career. So now we're here. My school starts in 2 weeks, I think. What day is it today? My school starts soon. July 27th is when it starts. I don't remember what day is it today. But yeah, it's a big change. A lot of money wasted on this whole interesting trip. I don't regret anything. Oklahoma was very helpful, and really the boot camp that I went through was such a skill training. Now I feel like my hand skills are exceptional. Probably not the best, because you know, you can never be the best. There's always ways to improve, but I'm going into BU very confident about what I can do. So I'm very excited to start. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that cleared up some confusion about why I'm in Boston and why I'm going to BU. I received some questions, as I mentioned, about what's going on, why did you drop out? So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my future videos too. Have a great day. Bye.